Okay, question 14 is about inequalities and regions. Let's look at part A. Given that x is an integer such that when you're reading these you start with the word x. X is greater than -2 and less than or equal to 3. Y is an integer such that y is greater than or equal to -1 and less than 5. An integer is just a whole number. It says y equals x, write down the possible values of x. Now what I'm going to do is just put some number lines. We could do it straight away from this, but I'll just draw some number lines to give some understanding of what's happened. So we've got -2 to 3. So let's put that down. -2 up to 3. And for the y values, we've got -1, which is about here. -1 up to 5. Now, when you're drawing these number lines, if we have an equals, what we do is we fill the circle in. So it's got x is less than or equal to 3, so that's filled in. And y is greater than or equal to -1, so we fill that in. Okay, so now we're looking at where they're both cross. So if I put there and there, because x equals y, all the values that satisfy these two inequalities are within these lines, and because they're filled in, they include them also. So we get, that's filled in, so it's -1, then 0, 1, 2, and that's a full line, full circle, so what we do is we include that as well. So that's 3. If that was open, we would not include that, but it is, so we do. Right, let's have a look at part B. Part B says, on the grid below, show by shading the region defined by the inequalities. We've got y is greater than 1, y is less than 2x minus 2, y is less than 6 minus x, and x is greater than 0. Mark this region with the letter R. Well, when you're drawing these lines on first, you draw them with all equals. So just pretend it's y equals 1, y equals 2x minus 2, y equals 6 minus x, and x equals 0. Okay, we'll start with this. Remember that the x-axis has the equation y equals 0, the y-axis has the equation x equals 0. So let's do two of the easier ones. Y equals 1. So the x-axis is y equals 0, so y equals 1 is there. And let's label that, y equals 1. Just do that a little bit darker. This one's quite easy to do. X is greater than 0. So there's x equals 0, we need that one, which is the y-axis. Yeah? Let's try this one. Y equals 2x minus 2. Okay? So there's a few ways of doing this one. You could do a table of values, but what I'm going to do is just one of the methods. What we'll do is we'll pick x equals 0 and find y equals 0 and find x. So I'll just put this in down at the bottom here. Put it at the side. Y equals 2x minus 2, and I'm going to put x as 0. So y equals 2 times nothing, take away 2. Y equals -2. So when x equals 0, y equals -2. When x equals 0, y equals -2. So there's the value down at the bottom there. Now let's do when y equals 0. So we get 0 equals 2x minus 2. Now we just need to change the subject to get x on its own. So what I'll do is add 2 first to get take this across the other side. So it becomes 2 equals 2x. And then the inverse of multiplication by 2 is divide. So divide by 2. So we'll get 1 equals x, or x equals 1. So when y is 0, x equals 1. So y equals 0, x equals 1. So we have this line here. So you can see it's going across 1 and 2 up. So if I continue with that, keep going 1 across, 2 up, 1 across, 2 up, 1 across, 2 up, and then draw that line in, right to the end of the axes. And label that one. That one is y equals 2x minus 2. Now the last one, y equals 6 minus x. I'll put this one down here. Y equals 6 minus x. Once again, I'm going to put x equals 0, so I get y equals 6 minus nothing. So y equals 6. So when x is 0, y equals 6. Let's put that on the graph. X is 0, y equals 6. Let's try the reverse. Put y equals 0. 0 equals 6 minus x. Now, to make x the subject, the easiest thing to do here, because it's negative x, is just add x to both sides. So take that over, we'll get x equals 6. So when y equals 0, x equals 6. When y equals 0, x equals 6. Let's draw this line in. Now let's look at all the inequalities. You can do shading out or shading in. I prefer to think of shading in rather than shading out, so that's the way I'm going to do it. Y is greater than 1, so that's up here somewhere. It's everything up here. Y is greater than 1. Y is less than 2x minus 2. So there's the line 2x minus 2. It's less than that, so it's below that line. Y is less than 6 minus x. So there's 6 minus x. I didn't label that. Y equals 6 minus x. So it's below that. So it goes below there. And the last one is x is greater than 0. So x is greater than 0, so we want there. Up there. So if you take all of those into account, greater than 0 is in there. Greater than 1 in there. Less than this one. And less than this one. So we'll take all of these into account. We'll get, let's see, greater than this one, less than this one, greater than 0. So this is the region here. R. And that's it.